What's up guys, Tucker here from S&S Smithing. Today we're going to be working on copper bracelets. And for some of you guys that might hear some noise going on in the background, we got B&B Forge live right now in the background. So if you hear him, that's cool. Guys, go check out his channel. I will have a little thing up top here and in the description so you guys can go find him and rewatch the same live stream. Alright, cool. Let's get started on it. Alrighty. The material we're going to be working with today is some copper. It's just some copper pipe. What we're going to do today is flatten it out to the cut it off, flatten it out, round the edges a little bit, and then we might put in some decorative pieces or not, or just leave it as flat copper color. Then we'll put a clear coat on it so that way it doesn't tarnish your skin. Alright, and remember guys, if you're using reclaimed pipe, like I do a lot of the time, make sure you clean it out on the inside before you start doing stuff with it so that we don't have chemicals or whatever leaking out on whoever's wearing it. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is just flatten her out. Alright, so everything we got it all flattened out. Now as you do this, you're going to need to re-anneal it and soften it. Now how you soften non-ferrous metals like copper, silver, gold, things like that, is heat her up with a torch, pretty hot. Now what I usually do with copper is I'll heat it up until the flame that comes from around it starts to turn green, and that's how I know it's to the right temperature to where I quench it in water and that'll soften it up. Alright, now it's nice and hot. Just quench her out right like that. Then she's nice and soft again. Next thing you gotta do here is grab a hammer and a cold chisel. Got one right here. Alright, so there we go, there's our piece. It's been just recently annealed. Now we're going to just clean everything up, maybe put some texture in it. So let's get working on that. Alright, so this is a simple project. All I gotta do is flatten it out. Next thing is like if you want to add some textures to it or anything like that, just go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some chisel lines in here, nice and lightly, so that way I'm not actually cutting the material, I'm just leaving a mark here. Thanks, sir. Here we go. Working on our little chisel lines here. Alright guys, so we got our zigzag cut in right here. Next thing we're going to do is put some circles in on either side of the line all the way up to the other end. But before we do that, we're gonna flatten her back out, re-anneal it. So, there we go. Alright, flattened. Now I'm just gonna re-anneal it. Handy dandy round punch we used in the twist videos, and that's what we're going to be doing, put in our circles. So, there we go. So, I don't know how you guys can see that from right there, but there's first circle. I'll do a couple of these and then we'll zoom. Alrighty, so continuing on. So just put your round punch right where you want it, and it'll make our nice pretty circle. Then just work yourself on down the bracelet like that. Alrighty, so here we go. That's our little design. Now we're just gonna heat her up and anneal it one last time. I probably won't add that part into the video because you already seen it twice. Then next thing we're going to do is clean up these edges here, probably with like the bench grinder or something, and then start bending her over the horn of the anvil to fit a wrist. One edge, second edge. I gotta pull that off real quick. Here is our bracelet, probably about 90% done. Next thing we got to do here is get a Dremel tool with a Scotch-Brite wheel on it, polish everything up, just that way we can get to the nice shiny copper underneath all this scale and oxides. And then what we got to do is get some clear coat varnish and just wipe it along on the outside of it, and that'll be it. That's our bracelet. Alright, so I'm going to get the Dremel and I'll be right back. The Dremel tool here with a Scotch-Brite attachment on it. I'm just going to turn it on and run it up and around everything, clean it all up. Alright, so there is our bracelet. Cleaned up just a little bit with a Scotch-Brite wheel. Next thing we're going to do is get some buffing tools for that and just buff the outside of it, make it nice and shiny. Not like a super buff like a mirror finish, just a little bit more so that way whenever the light catches it, it'll just put off a nice shine. And then once we get everything where we like it and cleaned up and finished up, we'll put in some clear coat, because if you have copper on your skin, it'll turn green over time. It'll tarnish your skin. It's like whenever you were younger and then you'd go to like those 25-cent little machines and you'd buy like a ring or something and then it'd turn your finger green 3 days later. It's the same kind of thing. So we'll just put some clear coat on it to keep that from happening, and then we'll call her finished. Alright, let's get working on that. So now we're going to start the long process of buffing. Now, what I like to do here is I like to put some of the buffing compound on the my little buffer attachment here. And then whatever extra left is still on like my hands or fingers, I'll rub it onto the bracelets, because this stuff is an abrasive. So let's try to get it on there. Alright, so now we start our buffing process. I start at a low speed on my Dremel, the lowest I can get, just to get it all spread around where it should be. And then I slowly increase the speed to get a better polish on it, all the way up to the maximum that it has. Okay, so now, alright, yeah, there we go, it's focused. Now it's all buffed. See how it gave it a little bit more shine? Certain spots now, if the sun was out and actually hit it, this part where the sun hits it would be really bright, but it doesn't have a mirror finish, which is kind of like a matte finish. But you see all the spots where you couldn't get in with the Scotch-Brite and the buffing wheel are darkened, because there's still some of those oxides in there, which helps the design you actually chisel in or stamp in stand out a little bit more. That's one other reason why you should re-anneal it before you start cleaning it up. So that way you can get nice darker lines and everything. And then if you make a bunch of these for like a show or something, if you have the copper annealed, it's pretty flexible still. Someone can adjust it for themselves, you know, if it doesn't quite fit right. So that's another reason why you want to anneal it. Now, next thing we gotta do is just throw some clear coat on it, and that's be it. Here we go. I got this little jar of clear coat. It likes to dry shut sometimes. Here we go. Okay. So then what I'd like to do here is just apply a little bit to like a rag or something, and then just wipe it on. We're not looking for any like super heavy coats, just a little bit. Try to keep any bubbles from forming. Try to keep from touching the wet clear coat with your fingers, because then you'll leave your fingerprint in it. And what I like to do is spots where there's the seam from the pipe in it, which, you know, from where you cut it off. I just like to add a generous amount of clear coat there, so it kind of fills in the crack and it's a flat spot, and then you don't have to worry about any burrs or things like that, or anything going in or out of the bracelets. Biggest thing with these bracelets, a lot of it's just finish work. Like you saw doing the actual bracelet itself, like putting in the design and shaping it. No, that only took like 2 minutes. So, go ahead and let that dry for a second here. And then we'll go ahead and do the inside of it. And then touch up any spots we may have made. And put a nice thick coat on the inside where it's going to have the most contact with your skin. So, the inside's going to take a lot longer to dry. Alright, clear coat's all dry. Kind of adds a little bit of extra shine to it too. So, now like I said before, the reason why you put the clear coat on it is that way it doesn't turn anyone's skin green that decides to want to wear it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, if you're making it for you and you don't care, then you don't have to worry about that step. But say you're making them to sell like I am, people tend to not like being green, so it's worth the extra steps. Alright, so let's talk about our outro. Alright guys, so here is how to make a copper bracelet. I think it turned out pretty cool. So, anyway, I got a bunch of these to make for that reptile expo I'm going to tomorrow. It'll already be weeks gone past by the time you guys see this video, probably. So, babbling. Hope you guys like this. Like always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Like I said before, I'm going to have B&B Forge's channel down in the description. He had a live stream going for a little bit at the beginning of this video, so go check him out. And guys, as always, Forge on. We'll see you on the next one.